almost.
Live. Oh, yeah, now we're live.
There it is.
Yeah.
It took all my powers to go live. I feel like a Power Ranger. Ugh, I can't do it. I really want the Power Ranger fighting game to just come out. It's a 3-on-3 fighting game, and or as my son told me, Dad, I want this Power Ranger game. It's a threesome. Like, we have to talk about your terminology, son.
Yeah.
Context.
Innocence is wasted on the youth.
Yeah, I'm looking at Best Buy. I'm in Best Buy looking around like, no.
Pink and Yellow Ranger.
Yeah. It's like it's a damn Marvel game because you can do 3-on-3 fighting, and I guess he just figured it was yeah. Anyway, hello everybody. We got a nice show tonight, packed with talent. I think. But we got Daphne Lage joining us here. Daphne is usually not on our Tuesday night show. She won't be on Geekgasm tomorrow.
Yeah, I have other arrangements I have to take care of. So.
Yeah, so Lola's booing you.
But I know. I'll make it up to you next week.
But
I'll sponsor the shoe cam. That's
yeah.
Pixel's got that locked down. What do you?
Yeah.
Outbid Pixel. Come on.
It'll be sponsored by Ego Works.
egoworks.com.
Yeah.
Shoe cam. I'll buy the shoes and everything. I'll make it up to
you. Larry's in the house says, I hear there's a John Dillard showing. Yeah, John Dillard's going to show up here tonight. Empyrean Vol says, hello, Indie Volters. Hello. Exit Studio says, hello, all.
Hello.
Lola puts her tip in there. If you want to tip, LolaStreamlabs.com.
Remember, tip well and tip often.
That's right. /IndieVolt/tips. Simon in the house. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Sim, how are you?
Yeah. That's Rebel. Don't worry. That's actually the he's not glitching. That's the new Cyberpunk filter. You should get that on your camera.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
We're gonna have a great show tonight. We got some questions. We got some talent showing up. We're gonna talk about some Kickstarters that are in crowdfunding campaigns that are beginning and ending, and ones that are being thought about and discussed. Here we go. I'm gonna roll the intro, and we'll get right into it.
Hit it.
Man, this could be painful.
We go, and I should have that fired up. Right, I do. Hello, everybody. This is Indie Volt Livewire. I'm your host, Varian Grant, founder of Indie Volt Media LLC. Started making comic books myself back in 2008. I'm a comic book artist, writer, publisher, a molester of comic books too. I heard someone say that. Yeah.
What?
I heard
molester of comic books?
Yeah.
I am not borrowing any books from you ever again.
Really.
Need to change your title now. Varian the comic molester.
Yeah. That's what a guy said on his stream. I'm not taking that. Now I said it, I'm like, I want to take that back. I put that out there.
It sounded funnier when someone else was saying it.
I put it out in post, right?
I renounce my my word use. That's how it works, right? I renounce it. I don't want this anymore.
Next week you'll be the comic book rapist.
Yeah. Next week. Yeah. Shame what you did to those books. And right in the bookstore too. Joined by always. You didn't even buy them.
Remember, pay before you pump.
We are TVMA DSLV.
We are TVMA DLSV.
By the way,
whatever.
Joined as always by the beautiful Indie Princess. Hello.
Hi guys.
She's got her shoe cam today. Randy Zim.
Hey.
Introduce yourself, sir.
Well, before we do that, we should probably say the views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Indie Volt Media LLC and do not reflect the official policy or position of any guest or sponsors. Viewer discretion is advised. But hello, everybody. I'm Randy Zimmerman. I am a longtime independent and alternative comics creator and everything. I've published for a long time, freelanced for a long time, retailed for a long time. I've created or coordinated conventions, done everything that you can in this business, and I did it for a long time. So, hey, I also do the Zim Geek channel over on YouTube, ZIMMGEEK, and I'm happily part of the Indie Volt Radio Network. So happy to be aboard.
Even, it's, again, I always joke with Randy about being who I can go to about older comics. And I go to him like, hey, Randy, do you remember this book? He's like, yeah, I remember that book. And he'll tell me everything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And like, what I was hoping was he was going to give me like the quick version. The quick version.
No.
Yeah.
Oh no, you started on a passion and you're done.
Yeah,
so
it's like
I'll just prattle on and on.
Yeah, it's like 20 minutes later.
Yeah.
When did the guy die, Randy? When did he die?
Well, that's when he woke up one morning and realized he wasn't able to see, so he struggled around in his apartment.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Miss Lage.
Yes, thank you. Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Daphne Leach, and I am a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist out of New York. And I am the artist of the furry animal fantasy comic Tall Tales, as you see behind me here, and the fantasy drama Ego Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, now on Kickstarter. And thank you, everybody, for helping me reach goal on the first day. That's very nice.
Yeah. The first day,
and,
man, that was a big
yeah,
flip.
I was very pleased. I was a little worried there for a second. But then again, I'm always worried with every Kickstarter. So you can check out my work, and you can sign up for updates too at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS.com, and my YouTube channel at Daphne Lage, LAGE Art.
Very good, very good. And Dreaded Dinosaur is in the house. Hello, sir.
Hey, how's it going? My name's Eric Hodson, Dreaded Dinosaur Man, which you can read on Webtoon. New episode should be up probably by the end of next week. Check that out for free. I'm also the host of It Came From Webtoon here on the Indie Volt Network, Mondays at 9, and happy to be here as always.
Cool. And that's going to be on Indie Volt TV this weekend.
Sweet.
All the episodes will be up there. So, yeah, that'll be great to see that up there. And if you haven't checked it out, you can go on our YouTube, check out It Came From Webtoon, and you can download Indie Volt TV on your Roku and a Roku-enabled device. Pick that up. Download the app. It's completely free. And then watch Eric and Mr. Michael Oden tell you what is hot in Webtoon. In the chat, Miss Dilla Draw says, hi. Hey.
Hello.
Rebel says, I'm LP, too cute to refuse, too legit to quit. The fourth and the 5-time pimp of the simp. Yeah.
he simps pimps, or he pimps simps?
He's a pimp of simps.
Oh.
Yeah.
My soapbox is never out of reach, Pops.
He's on it right now.
It's always right here.
He just needs to activate it.
I got it right there.
Congrats, Daphne. I told you, Pops.
Thank you, Pops.
And then I got a Roku device. Yeah, Rebel. I download Indie Volt TV on Roku. Eddie, we got ourselves someone in the green room. I'm gonna bring him in. There we go. I see my greatest fear is on screen. Wait a minute, Eddie. Who told you it was okay to come on here with a wolf as your avatar?
I apologize.
You apologize.
Don't apologize for werewolf hotness.
He looks like Tony Stark in a werewolf costume. I'm out. I'm out. I am terrified. I'm sending you my therapy bill.
I apologize. I apologize for being late, and I apologize for the werewolf.
Yeah, one of those things will be forgiven. The other will not. You'll find out which soon. Introduce yourself, and I'm gonna bring Mr. Dillard in as well. Let you guys introduce yourselves.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey. We'll start with you, Eddie.
Everywhere I go, Eddie Winkler's there.
Yeah, well, that's a good sign for me. I'm surrounded by talented people. I'm Eddie Winkler. I'm the writer and creator of Sovereign Wolf. It is a project up on Indiegogo right now with about 16 days left in the live campaign. The book is about it is a werewolf book, but it's really just a hero learning how to be a hero. In the first book, he's an intern for. I apologize. He's an intern for one of the world's for the world's leading. This is not good. For the world's leading genetics lab, and one day he discovers something he's not supposed to, and he's thrown into this secret world of shapeshifters versus heroes. I'm sorry for the terrible pitch.
No,
No, it's good.
No,
It's
you're
good.
At some point,
I'm gonna check it out because that sounds like my thing.
What are you under Indiegogo again?
It is Sovereign Wolf.
Sovereign Wolf.
Yes, Clandestiny.
At some point, this man is inflicted with horrible lycanthropy and becomes a werewolf. It's scary. It's like waking up one day and discovering you're a Democrat. It's horrible. I'm joking. I'm gonna get some insults from my family tomorrow. Mr. Dillard, hello.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, Barry.
Yeah, no problem. Please introduce yourself to our radio audience, and I'll tell you the number afterwards so you can get really bothered by it. Go ahead.
Well, my name is John Dillard. I have a YouTube channel called Dillard Draws, and I also do comic books. I'm the writer, inker, penciler, flatter, colorist for my book, The Buckler. And it's the book, The Buckler itself, is about a villain. It's not about a hero. To get really technical with it, he's an anti-villain. The guy who's bad at heart, mostly. I'm doing good things for the community. I wanted to do a character study into what it means, to be a villain. Pretty much how people put that label on you, and it's whether or not you try to make up, whether you try to give some sort of recompense to people that you've wronged, and he absolutely does not. He's just an awful person at heart, and I think it's a story that hits really close to home for a lot of people, especially Gen X and millennials, people that are having a hard time launching from their home. A little bit of he's a little bit of an incel. He's a little bit of all of that, and he doesn't want to apologize for it. He's stuck in that feeling that he is owed for the things that he's done.
Yeah, when you were explaining, I'm like, what's wrong with that? But I thought it was a biography about me.
I think that a good villain, it's lacking. It's lacking out there because it's like nowadays everybody wants their villains to like have redemption arcs and to apologize for everything. And it's like, no, you know what? It's like, lean. If you're going to be a villain, lean in.
That's like art, right? He had a life he tried to start. Didn't work out for him though,
right?
Because he was never really challenged when he was coming up. He used to be like a Phoenix Jones style character. He used to go around saving cats out of trees, breaking up fights, and everything. But he had a hero, a mentor that he really was infatuated with, called the Canadian Shield, an actual superhero with real powers. And one day the guy comes to town and he's like, "Hey, I'm looking for a sidekick." And so he knows that he's out there doing his best. He's doing parkour and double back gainers, trying to impress the Canadian Shield, ends up slipping and bumping into a young woman who's being, held hostage, gets her sliced in the neck by the and so the guy essentially tells him, "You're done, kid. You ain't got it. Whatever you think you had, you ain't got it. I don't want to see you practicing. You're playing superhero in this town no more. If I see you in the streets again, that's it for you. Curtains."
Oh, wow.
So devastated by this because he just idolizes this guy. Ends up having a psychological break and commits murder.
But he says, Daphne, persona activated.
Absolutely.
Dave is Supreme in the chat. Hello, Dave.
Hey, Dave.
So, guys, have you seen the show before? Eddie, John, have you seen the show?
I've seen clips of it from Pixel Trader.
Okay. All right. So I'm sorry.
I have not seen the show, but
I have definitely seen that shoe cam sponsored by Indicron before.
That's right.
There we go. Yes.
That's right. We normally, besides being nitwits, we have questions people send in from us. Some questions are come in from Indie Vote Radio. Some questions have come in. I already got cards for. So I'll put the question up there because I like to hear Randy's deep, velvety voice. He reads the questions, and we all get a chance to weigh in on it and talk about and answer the question that was sent in. Right now, Indie Vote Radio, we are live, and we are at 45,602 listening live right now. Indie Vote Radio. Thank you, Australia. I want to thank Ireland, and want to thank. I have no idea what that is.
What the hell country is that?
Yeah, sometimes the spelling ain't right. So
you and your geography lessons. Come on.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say. I'm just gonna,
that's way too many people. I'm an indie comic book artist.
It's like PJJZ. I'm like, well, that's not a country. And if I try to pronounce that, I'm afraid that I'm gonna say something. I might summon the devil.
It could be Peru misspelled.
So let's start this off right with a question from Indie Vote Radio, and this was from Abby. Abby sent this in, and
your loins.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh,
great.
great.
Something a little snazzy. Randy's gonna like this, but it's gonna block Randy out. But bam. Go ahead, read that, Randy.
I just says designers are artists, musicians are artists, painters are artists. Get over yourselves. #relics.
Okay.
That's a question.
Now wait, put that
Loud
back up though. Is that proper? Designers are artists? Singular?
Well, obviously, this designer doesn't know how to spell. So
Just how millennials ask questions.
It did come from Abby. And
musicians are artists. The musicians are artists. Painters are artists.
I am a good drawer.
Yeah, I are a good speller.
We're so mean. Get over yourselves. #relics.
I hope she's not designing comics where she's actually using English to, use structure and sentence structure. So,
Abby, I'm young. I may think old, but I'm young. I don't know if you can hear me.
Are you telling me that
No,
this is
I'm
like
old.
this is
I'm
a haiku? Is what you're saying?
yeah, that could be. That could be.
Yeah.
If this is an attack on Randy, he's the only relic in this room.
Oh yeah, thanks a lot. Age is but a number.
It came from the radio. Says spellers may or may not be artists.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
and he used artists correctly with in plural. Yeah.
Comic Talk Pod says thank you for guys for a great time during Comic-Con. It was a blast. No problem. I'm so happy to be there. What do you guys think about that? And let me give a little history to why Abby's writing that in.
Okay.
Abby is writing that in because Daphne
Hello.
said that.
Remember my YouTube channel?
Yeah, that is a YouTube channel in which she was. We were very upset with the Comic Blast.
Yeah.
And I want to trigger Daphne, and Daphne got a hold of Comic Blast. She read it. She was upset about it, and she thought it was the worst thing since brown toilet paper. And she said, and she went off. And they said, and the girl is like, "Hey, I design comics. Designing comics is hard." And Daphne is like, "What the f is a comic? What is F is a comic book designer?" Well, Abby wrote in last week and said, when you look at the page layout, that's a design. That's a design comic book designer. When you look at the credits page, that's design. When you look at the overall feel of a book, that's design. And Daphne was like, "I'm not a comic book designer. I'm a comic book artist." And what you're talking about is complete BS. Go away, Abby.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
She may have suggested that Abby. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that.
Right.
But,
what now?
I've suggested a few things. But
yeah, she may have suggested that Abby.
We can talk. We can discuss Abby seriously today.
Yeah. So now, and because we had said that Abby was wrong, she wrote back in and said that designers are artists. Look, I got a problem with designers. My wife is going to college for graphic design. And so she knows, but she knows she's not an artist, even though she can draw. She's kind of dangerous with a pencil, dangerous in that she needs a few more lessons. I was gonna send her to Dread Dinosaur for lessons, but way too much a month for drawing lessons. But anyway, what do you guys think about that? I used to get mad when people would use the phrase artist, like, "Oh, I'm an artist." "Oh, really? What do you draw?" "Oh, no, man, I'm a singer." What do you guys think about that?
Well, artist in and of itself encompasses a lot of creative things. It's like a singer is an artist, a designer is an artist. I mean, it's like if Abby is really talking about my video, one, I don't think that she saw the whole thing. She probably, rage typed, at a certain point and then stopped watching. But nowhere in the video do I say that designers are not artists,
right,
or that, designers are not a thing. It's like in the context of the Comic Blast video, yes, the term comic book designer is sus, but in terms of actually creating a comic, it's like, yes, we have to have the sensibility of graphic designers in order to put together our books. Yes, it's like, and also when we lay out our books and, we do the pages and everything, it's like everything has a sense of design in it.
There's a level of graphic design there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And my question is, and I'm gonna get real close because I want Abby to check my NPR voice out.
Oh, okay.
Abby, are you aware that if you're that upset with Daphne Lage, she has a YouTube account where you can leave all of that drivel?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But I guess it's more fun to
people who work at Subway are sandwich artists.
Well, yeah, okay, that gets a little dubious. Kind of like how people who work at Disney World are called cast members. But,
other people that work at Disney are called Imagineers.
Yeah, right.
What a wonderful term. Yeah.
It's marketing. It's after a while. And
it's also so
they get diluted by that.
This also they don't have to pay certain fees. So they were employees that have to pay.
Well, that's another issue.
Yeah. So he doesn't have to pay artists or designers.
Right.
He pays Imagineer.
But the long and the short of it is that nobody is saying that designers are invalid as creative talent. What I'm saying in the context of Comic Blast, there's no such thing as a comic book designer. It's like you draw comic books, you produce comic books, and you design for that thing. But the thing is, though, design encompasses everything you do, not just specifically comics.
Right.
So it's an design, graphic design is an all-encompassing thing because you're using it on your comics, you're using it on your promotional materials, you're using it everywhere, not just on your comic.
You're right. Randy, you were gonna say something? I'm sorry, I was.
No, you're all right. I was going to say to further split anal hairs here. I have found that some people that come out of college with a design degree, who basically get taught computer programs and how to move a letter from left to right, or how to maybe even manipulate a few points here and there, fashion themselves as artists.
Thanks, Randy.
and I don't mean for you to take that personal, Krista, but aren't. But our see, you just threw off my point. I'm sorry. They tend to be less artistic and more cold to that computer software. If you can't add a level of art to what you're doing and you want to just call yourself a designer, that's your prerogative, but you really question how much art you're bringing to the table, in my mind.
I think
call me a relic all you want, but designer, there's interior designers. They move furniture.
Yeah.
You can split that hair all you want. If you want to be artistic, be a freaking artist. With a design background. Absolutely. It does take a level of production design in order to put a book together. Absolutely.
And here's the thing, Abby, you know what? You can always fake your art your art background, your designer background, and just get in the industry. Just fake it. Say you got the paperwork. Nobody cares. Dreaded Dinosaur.
Well, there's just so much more to this industry than learning software.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Anyway.
Well, if I get a little bit on the soapbox here, I've always had a problem with the term artist, just because it is such a huge kind of an umbrella term. And for lay people who are outside of the various artistic communities, creative communities, it tends to have a negative connotation because it speaks to something that they think they can't do, that they don't understand, because it's, and most of the people that I've interacted with that are outsider of that community, they tend to think of like the New York art gallery art scene as that's what artiste is.
Well, those are artistes.
Artistes,
They're not artists. They're artistes.
It's a very toxic thing.
Yeah.
For people trying to learn, because they think it's this thing that's unknowable and just comes, and if you're not born with it, you can't have it, which is completely false. Anybody can learn to do this.
I taped a banana to a wall. I am an artiste.
Oh yeah. See, that's
well, you're actually money laundering, but Yeah,
it's all money laundering for wealthy New Yorkers and whatnot out there. That's pretty much all it is. But anyway, that's the stigma that's attached to it, which is why I like breaking things down into musician, illustrator.
Yeah.
And designer is one of those things. Design has its own negative context, just kind of what Randy was alluding to. It's more of a, design is creating art for the purpose of making something specifically for use case scenarios for the most part. When you're doing interior design, you want something that looks good but is also functional. Art does not necessarily connotate functionality. It's more of an emotional, this is an expression of something. And that doesn't, so the two married together is where comics come in, and where a lot of things are actually produced, is marrying the two together. But if you're just going to say that you design comics, that's eluding the fact that you didn't draw it. You just used clip art and arranged it in a certain way and blah, blah, blah. And that's where we took offense to the design comics thing, is because there's it removes the human element, the artistic element, the emotional element out of it, in creating something that's just purely functional to tell a story, to design the comic, So that's where it is. And whenever I've been in the position of teaching people art, I pretty much just remove myself completely from the terminology there, and I teach it as visual literature, visual communication. That's where I start when I start teaching these things, because anybody can learn that.
That old PhD answer. John, deliver us from Eric's intelligence, and just tell Abby to screw off.
All right, look, I'm not a smart man, right? I'm a simple guy. But if you're an artist, you're an artist. You're not going to go around looking for validation about whether or not you're an artist. Prince.
Thank you.
Prince was an artist. When it comes to your medium, whatever it is you're doing, I do this book. I'm the artist, letterer, writer, everything. I do all the digital designing for it. I put all the things here and there. I work with the composition. If you do all those things, you're an artist. If you're a musician and you play the piano and you take your music that you've recorded and you mess around with it to what you've done, what you've brought to the table, manipulate what you've brought to the table and create a product, you're the artist. Mm-hmm. You can have a job. You can have a job that entails you doing things that require you to be a little creative. Doesn't mean you're an artist. Right. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I tend to agree with John in that if you do, and then I think the term artist is kind of vague also, because I think there's a very thin line between having artistic ability and being an artist. My wife is a fashion designer. Mm-hmm. She has a degree in fashion design. She has artistic abilities, but as far as I think even she wouldn't call herself an artist, and she calls herself a designer. And like John said, if you put together something that, I think creator is a better word, but again, you can call yourself an artist, but then again, you go back to sandwich artist, and you put it together, but did you really? Are you really an artist?
And that's the thing. You may learn from experience that if you put mayonnaise on your bread too soon, you might ruin the sandwich. Doesn't mean you're an artist.
And also the thing is that you do notice when somebody does have an artistic ability that they can bring to the table on top of the technical aspect of what they do, than someone who just knows the programs.
Yes.
You can know Photoshop inside and out, but if you know how to illustrate and really work with it, you get a completely different end result than someone who just knows the program.
Right.
And also, even if you are the person that's doing all these creative things, if you're not there yet, if what you're doing, like let's say, I know a guy who's very, very skilled. He does a bunch of stuff. He does really physical stuff, movie props, that kind of thing for actual studios. But if you're not there yet, if you're doing stuff that somebody has to be looking over your shoulder and telling you, hey, we can't be putting that in there, not yet. You're not maybe you're making a mistake. Take it easy. You're still not an artist, not yet. It not only does it require the skill and also all the creativeness that go with it, you also need the practice and the ability to see it through.
Really?
Joe says, by some of your terms, I wouldn't be an artist. I would be a crazy dude that creates comics, though I draw, ink, letter, etc. Joe, we've always thought you were a crazy dude. So no,
that's all of us.
Let me pose this question: was Andy Warhol an artist?
Right,
call
and
Andy
that's
Warhol.
a debate. That's a debate that's been raging for a bit.
That's not a debate. The answer is no.
Yeah, I called Andy Warhol an artist once, and my entirety of Facebook friends turned on me. Jared the Dinosaur was the first. He was Brutus, like, and I'm like, what? You're an idiot. You don't know.
There's a documentary. I think it's on Netflix, but it's available somewhere. It's called Enter Through the Gift Shop.
Yeah,
and it's about this phenomenon of just taking somebody, and turning them into a pop artist, and they don't even produce the work themselves. And it's just really fascinating how it's like how marketing is a powerful thing.
it is.
Yeah.
Real quick too, from Indie Vote Radio. Did we lose somebody?
Oh,
Yeah,
well.
Indie Princess just dropped out.
Did we lose the Indie Princess? Okay, should be. Oh, she'll be back. Some having computer problems.
I didn't. Nobody kicked her out.
Yeah, she's having some internet problems. Internet kicked her out. So we'll see what happens. She should come back in pretty soon. I'm gonna put another question up though while we're waiting, and we'll let Randy.
Trouble Gaming says that's like saying I'm a comic book writer. Yes.
We're gonna turn it Larry that you don't write now. There we go.
Charles DeWitt. Does the D stand for? I don't know. Never mind. I don't think we're seeing an indie renaissance as you Volters would wish us to believe. No, what you are witnessing, my friends, is the mainstream's bloodletting of these toxic and poisonous creators, both male and female, out of the realm of high-end entertainment and products. Good riddance. I would think again about covering such a paltry and creatively bankrupt section. Charles DeWitt. Who's creatively bankrupt? The mainstream, who's bloodletting these toxic and poisonous creators, both male and female, out of the realm of high-end entertainment and products. Is that what he's saying?
I know.
Yeah.
We twist it around that way. Yeah.
I thought that was Marvel's hiring policy. They were trying to find more toxic creators to hire.
I conceded that.
That's what they call failing upwards, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mediocre people like to surround themselves with mediocre people.
Or less mediocre people so that they feel superior.
Yeah, those are the editors.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what a comic book designer is, an editor.
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah.
Now we know.
I don't think that we are. First of all, look, I'm looking at the dollar signs. I'm seeing people who used to have to struggle every year going to Comic Cons, making money. And so
Mark. I was thinking that, Mark, but I didn't say.
Does a D mean them? Yeah, Charles, I got it. I believe I think you're wrong, and I don't. From what I'm understanding, some of these companies aren't letting their talent go by choice. Some of them they have to fire them because they can't afford to pay because the money isn't there.
That's when they find out they've been let go after the person who was supposed to let them go got let go before they were told that everybody else that they were let go. Yeah.
The corporate structure.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
That was DC last week.
No, I think Charles DeWitt is 100% correct from his point of view. These people that are, poisonous creators, toxic creators, these people that want to tell stories that don't cater to your sensibilities, they are being let go. He's right. They're getting let go by these mainstream people who want their corporation. They want their little piece of the world to be completely bereft of ideas that they're uncomfortable with. They are getting let go. It's true. Yeah. And and if you want to call it the realm of high end entertainment, that's up to debate, because now, as we're seeing now, there's no such thing as high end entertainment anymore. I mean, look at things like Wonder Woman. Like, how are they going to keep getting these blockbuster numbers? There's no such thing as a blockbuster anymore. Yeah. You can't get a movie that's going to make $1 billion worldwide. Yeah. It cannot happen. And when people are saying, oh, they're going to go to Netflix, because remember when Dave Chappelle got that Netflix deal and he got that money, like when Sirius Satellite Radio got Howard Stern, that money is to get people on their platform. not everybody that's making, blockbusters is getting that money. Just a select few that have an audience that they're going to try to get. Once that's done, these people aren't going to be shelling out $1 billion for a movie on Hulu. They're not going to.
No, it's like, and it's like, and especially since just recently, I'm reading an article about all the different shows that are being canceled after the first and second season on Netflix. So just because they're able to get a deal on Netflix doesn't mean it doesn't mean anything really.
Right, because that's the model, right? They're chasing that dollar. The model now is you get a show that's going to get people on your platform. Once they're there, there's no incentive to keep that show going.
They canceled Dark Crystal after one season.
I am still vexed by that.
It's the biggest unjust thing ever in entertainment.
It really is. It really is. It really is. I was so vexed.
But again, on Dark Crystal is Henson. Henson is Disney. Disney has Disney Plus. Who's to say that Dark Crystal isn't going to show up over there here soon?
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Right. And to address the second part of the question, if you could put the question up again.
Yeah,
but
sure.
To address the second part of the question,
I was wondering why you took that down too.
Yeah. So the people that are getting kicked out, the people that are, the industry is releasing the evil humors essentially. Well, there's a lot of people that are wanting that kind of content. So that's why they're being successful. There's a bunch of people that still want these, diversity of ideas, these really interesting ideas, things that aren't PC, things that aren't, cookie cutter. And when they're letting go, they're finding a footing. They're not falling into the abyss. They're finding a home. And that's what I think is happening. So I think Charles is right, exactly right. He's thinking in the wrong way about it.
I think I've seen Eddie's avatar. I seen sound vibrations come from it. Did we cut you off, Eddie?
No. You guys are much smarter than I am. So
don't be afraid to chime in. Your opinion is just as valuable as anybody else's. So.
No. I'm listening to John. I agree with what he says. I'm not just because he's saying it first. I'm just I share similar opinions to him. I guess so.
And as far as not seeing an indie renaissance, Charles, I want to see where you're thinking as far as that goes, because I'm definitely seeing it. Having been in the indie market since the 80s, I don't think there's a better time, or that we've seen a better time for an independent creator out there to pop up and crowdfund his own stuff.
Yeah.
The only problem is marketing and gaining a wider audience in order to make more money and make this audience larger. It's a big, there's a lot of great sequential art coming out there.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm seeing an indie renaissance too, but I think that if I'm understanding the comment correctly, I think it has a lot more to do with the idea that an indie renaissance that's led by big name or former big name creators from mainstream. And it's like, to tell you the truth, it's like that's kind of the thing I'm not interested in. Like, I'm not interested if these creators coming out getting fired, because it's like, if they're going to do an indie book, they're going to do an indie book, but they're not really leading anything. We're already here. We're already producing, the indie revolution. So we don't need them. And I just feel that it just lends into the idea that unless a corporation is doing it, unless a big name is doing it, it doesn't count. It's kind of like the whole hoopla there was with, Keanu Reeves doing his book, that it's like, it's going to save indies. And it's like, save it from what? We're right here.
Yeah.
It's like, we're here. It's like, hello, we're right here. I mean, it's like, he's not, just because Keanu Reeves is involved doesn't all of a sudden legitimize us. And I think that's kind of the idea in general that I have a problem with, that it's like, unless these big names, get involved, we're not legitimate somehow. But I could be misinterpreting the comment though.
And I think this is a great year. I think you're going to see a redefining of what mainstream is, especially when it comes to comics, because you're seeing Marvel and DC's numbers literally plummet. You're seeing their products plummet. The mainstream isn't the mainstream anymore.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to see an evolution happening, and call it a renaissance, if you will, of this art form that's not necessarily going to be coming out of these larger corporations who feel that print is dead, or that they don't need to be paying any attention to the numbers that these comics are producing, when you have retailers out there literally living hand to mouth trying to survive off of these products that are just useless.
And not only that, like you're seeing it most successfully in comics, the indie revolution, because it's very difficult for an indie video game developer or an indie movie maker to compete one-to-one against the mainstream. But when it comes to at the moment, but when it comes to comic books, that's very, very simple.
Yeah.
You know, you doesn't even, I mean, I'm doing everything myself. It doesn't take an entire army of people to create a comic book. It just takes one, you know, and marketing is really the only thing they have on indie. And that's the only thing left they have.
Pop says that bloodletting of the amount of lame ass titles. And
yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, because it's like I'm still kind of flabbergasted that just DC alone was printing over like 100 titles a month. And it's like, talk about like butter being spread too thin on toast. It's like, how do you there comes a point where the quality just drops off. You're just printing those books to fill up space.
How many Batman titles do you really need?
Right.
And now we're talking about with DC being still currently owned by Warner, which is owned by AT&T. AT&T is doing the bloodletting. This is why people are getting fired from DC. And we're in a time where we're speculating whether or not they will just sell DC Comics, because all AT&T cares about is the movie revenue. The comic book industry itself is just, it's a means to an end, and if they don't need it, they're going to sell it because they got to get their balance sheet done so that their stock will get above $29, $30 a share for once. Which I am a stockholder of AT&T, so I get all the little inside newsletters. They just sold off Crunchyroll to Sony, who already owns Filmation. So now you have one company controlling almost all the anime coming in and out of the country.
Did they sell Crunchyroll? Is that after they went through and stripped out like 70% of it?
Yeah, no, it's been sold off. The deal's done.
Okay.
It was a number in the billions, but yes. So Sony Filmation now owns Crunchyroll, which Crunchyroll has an agreement with Webtoon, because a lot of their Crunchyroll originals have come from Webtoon. So I'm wondering now, what's the situation with Webtoon? Are they going to end up becoming a subsidiary of Sony at some point? How is that going to affect me publishing? That's on that end. And then on the other end, we have like our good friend Ethan Van Sciver, who went from being a mainstream pro that got the work that he got, but now he's created a $1 million property of his own, Cyberfrog, and has action figures and God knows what else in the works. And this is an indie property, so you can't tell me that there isn't an indie revolution going on when somebody can take their independent property, producing their own comics, their own toys, and then capping that $1 million, breaking that seal. If he can do it, because he's got the marketing behind him with his YouTube show, we just got to do the footwork, and we can reach these levels if we do the footwork and put the work in, because the audience is out there, they're ready and they're buying.
Yes, Pop says small person's revolution is that better, and he's hashtagged it as well. I'm gonna put the next question up because I know you guys are all very mad at Charles now. We're gonna go another one though.
We're just slightly irritated.
But I'm mad at Charles.
He's entitled to be wrong.
Everybody, everybody's entitled to be wrong once in a while. Indiegogo, Kickstarter.
I delete the cuss words.
Oh, you deleted? Oh, so this is you should have just put
screw Indiegogo.
I think it was stronger than that. I do believe that there was a fuck there.
Every other platform like it. I made an erotic interactive comic with included accoutrements, and they denied it even after I blurred out the adult bits. The HJG HAG something something came adorned in a handcrafted miniskirt my wife designed for my character. Seeing these sit in the garage is heartbreaking. Any tips? Oh, well,
Jolly Roger Press and Entertainment.
yes.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Honestly, it's like as someone who does erotic artwork and does try to sell it, through the internet, and crowdfunding and whatnot, it's kind of a hard sell if you don't do it in a very specific way.
Right.
And even when you do, it's still a hard sell.
Well,
I feel Jolly Roger Press. So I feel what they're saying.
I checked his profile out, and what he did was he created. It's somewhat interactive. Basically, whenever the character is doing something, you have this additional component that he bought and dressed that you can now use with your comic. And he can't get it on crowdfunding, and he was wondering any tips because the crowdfunding is like, nope, you can't do that.
Yeah, it's very.
Now I'm still confused. What are you?
Yeah, what again did he create?
He created a comic book. He created a comic book, which has a device with it. Well, he
okay.
It with,
all right. So I'm assuming. Okay, so probably the reason why he wasn't allowed to put them in because technically, and this also links into the DVD. Situation that you were telling us about the other day.
Oh, yes.
That technically they took it as you're selling a sex toy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we do not sell sex toys.
A sex toy for a guy or a girl?
It doesn't matter. So it's like if I think that if he left it with the comic itself, and left any real life accoutrements out of it, he might have an easier time getting the book. Now, mind you, that's if the book is not done with photographs and is actually artwork, because that's a whole other thing. That he might have they might have an easier time getting the books on crowdfunding, because I've seen erotic art on crowdfunding. I've done it myself, so I know it's possible, but there's very specific things, and you have to. So if it looks like a sex toy and acts like a sex toy, they're not going to put it up there.
Yeah, and you got to remember
real pornography. If it looks like with real actors or whatever, they're not going to put that up there. So. Yeah, he might be. They might be better off like stripping out.
I sent Randy the visual image of what was coming with the.
I have the visual image.
Yeah. Now
Jolly Roger. Yes, they are not going to take that.
Right. Yeah, that's
just not going to happen. What you need to do is sell that in the comic. Sell the comic. Put an ad for it in the comic, and hope
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to say anything?
Like you used to sell the old X-ray specs. Just put that in the advertisement in the back.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty much all you can do, really.
Yeah, it's but you're not going to move that product on an indie any platform that considers itself general audience.
If you're interested,
blur it out or not. That's not.
If you're interested in seeing what Jolly Roger bought a bunch of, then repurposed to go off his comic, message me. I'll give you the link. But yeah, I'm not putting it in here.
Yeah, but it's probably
we get banned off of Facebook and YouTube automatically. Just toss.
Yeah.
Even if we tried to blur it.
Anybody want to say Art Belfast is now confused?
I'm confused. It's not that confusing.
Is Irvin Claw? It's Irving Claw out there. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, that was all photographs, though.
If you really need a description, it's kind of like a pocket. What do they call
pocket rocket?
Pocket, only from the other end.
Yeah.
So. No, you can't put that in.
It's horrible. I think here's the thing, guys. You got to be careful when you're trying to launch anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna run into all types of pitfalls and people who. I mean, you got to understand. Lola got her PayPal restricted for life.
Yes, that is a real thing. That is a real thing.
Someone used verbiage in there that made it seem like she had did something illegal on their platform, and she didn't. And she had a couple $100 locked away for. At that point, it was only 45 days. Now I'm hearing they're doing 90-day bans.
And that's if you get the money back at all. Yeah. And the thing is, so it's like you really have to be careful with that, because all the payment systems, they all like to blame the credit card companies for it, and the credit card companies are like, well, no, that's not us either. So you don't know really what's going on. Like right. There's no way to get any clarification when it comes to this type of stuff. And I've heard artists doing commissions get their PayPals completely suspended because someone went, "Oh, thanks for the titties."
Yeah.
in the comments. And it's like, and that's all it took.
Yep. And they will ban it without question. Yeah. Want to talk about one other thing too. I'm glad I got Eric here, because this week I shared an image. Last week we had a gentleman to write in. He told us he wanted to start something called creative or art broth, where you would invest in artists. So I can take out an investment in Eddie as a creator, not in this product, but an investment in him. Now the thing was, if I put $250 in Eddie, he was going to get half of that, whatever anybody put into him. And then there's a site ran value system basically, and it's all based on your output throughout the year and how you are as a creator.
Like Patreon.
It kind of is, but you're doing it for various people. So I could do it for John. I could put some money into Eric, some money into Randy. I could do these things, and then But so we talked about it last week on the show. The guy who's putting together who's going to come on the show very soon. He said, "Well, I was doing some more talking with my lawyer, and I found out that I don't even have to have the artist's permission to do this, or the creator's permission." So basically, he could just say, "Hey, who wants to invest in Randy Zimmerman?" And I'm like, dude, you should definitely get people on your side. You don't want to imagine that shit. But while on the heels of that, something came up, and I said, "Look, guys, it's happening already."
Oh yeah, this.
And investing in culture. Basically, Eric, did you check into this?
I looked at it briefly, and though I admire somebody for coming up with the idea that I can buy a share of Fantastic Four #1 that CGC graded at 9.8. I may have, been born a minute ago, but I wasn't born last minute.
It sounds like that thing that I used to read about where people would invest in like thoroughbred horses or something like.
It sounds like buy a star.
Yeah. Kind of weird.
Here's one of the things, or a lordship in Ireland, if you're very
yeah. Well, yeah, I did that because I had to. I had to do that. When they said I could be a lord, I'm like, oh my god, yes.
So one of the things that's happened here in the COVID era is this ideal of the retail investor, and the app Robinhood is largely to blame for this, because it's made investing extremely easy. And another thing that has taken off has been online sports betting, stuff like DraftKings and whatnot, because people are home, people are indoors. Yep. They started doing more investing to make money. It's a form of gambling. Yep. It's the same thing. So this is just playing off the coattails of that, trying to find another thing. It's like, oh, hey, now I'm kind of bored with DraftKings and Robinhood. Oh, I can invest in this Tweety Bird animation cell that somebody found in their basement.
So keep in mind, it's not yours.
Right.
You're just investing in it.
Yeah.
But I mean, how do you make money? Like, okay, what is it? How does the investment work?
It doesn't. This
right.
See, this is a grift.
This which is why
a grift.
I have it ready.
Okay. Well, let me explain what asset. So in order to invest in something, it has to be an asset. Crap laying around your house, even though you paid a lot of money for it, like your $600 shoes or my $500 Dino Riders thing, it's crap. It's plastic. It's not an asset.
Wait a minute. You have Dino Riders toys?
I do.
I want to see them.
but anyway, yeah, I got the T-Rex. It's almost complete. But anyway, we buy these things because we enjoy them and we collect them, but they're technically not assets. Right. An asset is something that has intrinsic value, which is why it's gold and silver. Those are why they're money. Stocks are assets because they are part of, a company. You're buying a small piece of a company that is a for-profit entity that has a valuation and is backed up by the FCC, and all this other stuff. Those are assets. So for something to be an asset, it has to have a certain amount of intrinsic value that you can go and borrow against and get currency for, or you could use it as currency. And a lot of the stuff that was on this Otis thing is not assets. Okay. In a healthy free market system, like we kind of still do have right now, if you've got a copy of Fantastic Four #1, 9.8, you have a very small audience of people who can afford to buy that. So don't go buying shares in one of them, because as soon as that audience dries up, there isn't going the people who are poorer than that audience can't buy into this. It's not fungible. It can't be divided into small pieces like money can, like gold and silver, for example. So that's why this is a grift, is you're not buying true assets. You're buying a fad. You're buying something that can be used like an asset for a small amount of people for a short amount of time, but it's not a stock. It's not a bond. It's not gold or silver. It's not even crypto coins. I mean, this is more sketchy than the crypto market was 10 years ago. So yeah, stay away from this.
Yeah.
Roll the grift.
Here we go. Grift of the week.
And when I say fungible, that's a term in finance that means it can be divided into smaller pieces like change. So $1 is fungible because you can break it up into 4 quarters, 10 dimes, whatever.
Well, let's look at something that was fungible this week.
Well, hang on. Before we do that, Empyrean Vol says he's doing a hostile takeover of Varian.
Yeah. Go ahead and invest, because when my man starts artist, it's artist broth or something like that he's calling it, where you're going to be able to, yeah.
I valued Varian at 1 million V dollars, but now I'm going to cash him in. I just print the V dollars out on my printer.
So he's operating like a central banker.
Yeah. It's the same.
I tell you what, before we move on, if you read the rules in Monopoly, that's exactly how our economy works now. The bank never runs out of money. Just write it on pieces of paper.
Oh, yeah, now it does. Yeah.
Speaking of Indie Vote Radio right now, guys, we are up to 72,000 people listening live on Indie Vote Radio. Woo. Download the Indie Vote Radio app on Google Play or Alexa, or if you have an Apple phone, download Streamer and listen in live. Check us out. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Music, comic book talk, all this good stuff.
We appreciate each and every one of you.
Also from I got a quote from I got a message from my Facebook. Is that a light up coaster? Yeah, it is. It is. It's not lighting up right now because I have to do it, right? Someone asked, put me on the spot. There it is. Yeah. It's a light up coaster.
I'm waiting to come over to your house and use your LED toilet.
Yeah. It's gonna happen.
Oh, yeah. It has USB plugs in it too.
Yeah. It's gonna happen. So here we got Eagle Raven, here the first unicorn by Miss Daphne Lage, and $500 was her goal. She knew she was gonna get it. She passed her goal. 748 just funded. Now, Daphne, you've been threatening to release this book for a while, for months.
Yeah, actually, a long while. Technically, this project took me 20 years to finally get off the pot on.
And now here we are. Yeah. You put it on Kickstarter. Now you correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't post a Kickstarter. You don't start your campaigns until the book is finished, right?
Yes. Yeah. No, that's very important to me. Because I don't need that pressure to have to finish a book. During a Kickstarter, I want it done. I want to be able to proof it. Actually, it's like I do have a physical copy of the book from the printers already, so that way it's like once the campaign ends, well, I have everything ready to go.
Right.
Because I don't know, it's just logical to me. It's like I don't see how people just put up a Kickstarter as almost like a wish list as opposed to like actually producing a book.
I want to know
how
come my name isn't listed in the praise. I see.
You didn't send me a pull quote.
I see.
But then again, I didn't send you an ARC either.
You thought I was gonna leak it. I'm just kidding.
I wanted, it's like I wanted to respect the idea that maybe, this might not be the type of book you were into.
I'm gonna read it and judge it harshly now.
Okay. All right.
I will read it. I think it looks good. Now can I play the video?
Yeah. It's just music.
Okay.
But it's music from Epidemic, so you won't get copyright strike.
Yeah, that's what they say until I get one.
Yeah. They get notice. Yeah.
Here we go. Only on Kickstarter. Now, you've had, again, now this book has been something that we're going to get. I think I seen the date over here. You're going to ship them in, March? So
March, yeah.
Couple weeks.
So right now I'm playing, I'm toying with the idea. I was talking to JD about it this morning, of running like a 20, the second this is done, running a 21 day campaign on Indiegogo as well, just to get the audience that maybe doesn't want to buy it on Kickstarter and prefer Indiegogo. And our printer is good that it's like that once I get everything together, I can still get the books printed in time to meet that deadline.
Okay. It looks really good. And I see you got a couple different tiers here. The PDF tier, because and what's cool about that is because of different people who listen to the show, sometimes the problem that we hear from a lot of listeners is that it just costs me too much.
Oh no, international shipping is ridiculous. Yeah,
especially right now too. So the PDF is an option.
Yes.
And you got a $5 PDF version. I see a $10 hard copy and PDF version.
Yeah. So you get a hard copy with the PDF. The PDF pretty much comes with everything. So no matter what tier you're on, you're gonna get a PDF.
Very good. And you've again, man, to March 2021, but that's because the book is done. It helps for those things.
Yeah, it does actually, and that's a part of it too. Because like I said, it's like the second it's done, it's to the printer, and we're good to go.
Are we? I know you said the other day you're going to put some perks in.
Yeah. Well, right now, yeah. So we do have some backer rewards. If you're a certain backer, you automatically get these sketches put into your order. Right now we're gunning for our first stretch goal at $1,000. Everyone gets a PDF of a prequel story that I did. That's in prose and illustration. It's not a comic book. It's a prose book. So it's like that's also something I kind of dabble with. So.
Okay.
That's the prose book. And the thing is, though, it's like I've already had people asking if that book will also be like I would have a printed version. And for everyone asking, I'm proofing it at this moment. I'm just waiting for it to come in because it's kind of like a thick comic book. So I just want to make sure that everything looks right.
Stickers that can go on the.
We all love stickers. We all
go on my laptop.
Yes.
I just got some Wizard World stickers today. I love stickers. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a sticker.
Because you can cover your laptop with it.
Yeah,
so.
different covers here, all chrome. You knew you were giving me with the chrome covers. You knew that.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So here's a proof of the virgin cover that it's just the artwork on the cover, no logos or anything. But the next two is my favorite though. So this is a silver cover with just the pen and ink artwork on it. And look at that. I love that shine.
Mm-hmm.
I love that shine.
Yeah, my eyes.
Yeah, I know, right? But I think my ultimate favorite is the hollow / the rainbow cover. So that's my favorite. So
yeah, I do like that one. I think the rainbow cover looks pretty cool. We've been joined by Jody McPhee.
Hey Joe.
At least now I know what I'm backing.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
I did back the version cover.
Yeah.
The version cover as I want to draw on it, but then I got to send it back to Daphne to have her draw on it. And
no, that's not the sketch cover. That's the version. I said the version cover.
The version cover.
Yeah, because I also have a sketch cover too. That's also available.
For those of you interested in looking at the Kickstarter, there is a link in the chat.
Yeah, so I'll make sure it's on the links. Actually, I want Meredith will make sure that it's in the video, that it's in the comments. Because that's Meredith. Back.
Thank you. I have. Oh, and also another thing too about it being like how far in advance, like having the issue done before the Kickstarter. So just so everybody knows, this is not a one-hit wonder. I have 4 issues completed. No, I have 5 issues completed. I have 2 issues that are in the layout stage, so I just have to tighten up and ink that. And then I have the complete series is scripted. It's finished. So all I have to do is just draw out the rest of the issues. So
what happens in the end?
A rock falls and everybody dies.
Beyond Time says, by the way, Imperium, you're going to devalue Varian by doing that. And he says, I had to devalue Varian based on his fear of werewolves. Yeah,
I would lower the stop price too for that.
Yeah. 38%, yeah. It looks great, Daphne. I'm excited to see where you end up. Let me go back up here and take another look at the top of it. This Ego Raven, if you're listening online, Ego Raven.
Heir of the First Unicorn. It's a fantasy drama kind of soap opera type of, where Tall Tales is the action adventure, Lord of the Rings fantasy, running, jumping, skipping, climbing Mount Doom type of thing. Mm-hmm. This one's more of a soap opera. So it's, it's kind of like, I like to compare it as like a mishmash of the Chronicles of Narnia meets The Witcher. Mm-hmm. So it's a little weird.
That's kind of complicated. Sounds fun.
Not too complicated.
Narnia with over aggressive violence. That's interesting.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Can't wait to read it, Daphne. And we're gonna keep an eye on. 20 days left to go, people. 28 days left to go on that project.
Yes. So I got plenty of time to go, but let's keep those numbers rolling in.
Yeah. We as a matter of fact, I'll back it as well. That way I don't. That way too. JD doesn't kill me.
Oh.
I know he will. Like, hey, can't help but notice he didn't back the book. Yeah, no, you didn't. There it is. Done and done. It's funny. I got to get rid. I have this old card on my Kickstarter program account, and for some reason I haven't deleted it, but I always click it first, and it'll say this card was not able to be used because it's been reported as stolen, and I'm like, stolen? It's Michael, whoa, but it freaks me out. So let's look at another book real quick here. Now, Eddie, did you put your link in the private chat so I can bring it up?
I did not. Okay. I can try.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Oh, no problem. I'm
all out of.
Grant Lankford says it looks cool, Daph.
Thank you.
Grant.
I was going to. I was trying to get. The Lola took me to Dave and Buster's twice last week, and you can't eat or drink in there or anything. You guys, you heard me complain about it on the show. There's no food, there's no drink. You can't do anything. You never play video games for hours, and you're like, I'm thirsty, I'm parched. What the hell? But it did have a machine that's really easy to win stuff out of, stuffed animals, and they had Daphne, Scooby Doo.
Oh,
yeah, and I'm like, oh, I'll win that.
I thought you were about to tell me something specific.
I'm like, I'm like, I'll win that and send it to Daphne because she's never heard that joke before.
Oh no, absolutely. No, you know what's funny? You know what's funny about that? Not for nothing. It's the only time people know how to pronounce my name. They will say everything else. It's like Daphne, Jessica, like literally I've gotten that. And then I go like Scooby-Doo and they go, oh, Daphne. It's like, thank you. Like, I don't know what's going on.
For me, it was the last name. I'm like,
that's
lag.
Yeah. People think it has 4 letters in it. It must be complicated. No, it's German. You just say it the way it looks.
Let me bring up this horrible werewolf art. I'm just kidding. Well, actually, it's really good. Here we go.
No werewolf shaming.
Yeah. Wolf, Clandestiny. And first of all, Lola is writing a werewolf book for me because I don't like werewolves. They scare me, but I love them, but they scare me. And she's writing the book. And I want to tell you something. Clandestiny is an awesome name. I love that. And you got a lot of cool stuff here too.
Yeah, there's a lot of talented people on this. I would like to say myself included, but that's yet to be determined. But as far as your fear of werewolves, you should not fear. This guy is a hero, and you'll see that not so much this book as he is turning into a hero. But this is the first of Dose of Action's comic books. This is the flagship title, Sovereign Wolf, and this is the first story arc, Clandestiny, which is basically a play on words. He is the hero's John Sovereign. He's thrown into this secret world that he never knew he was part of, but was always destined to discover, I guess you'd say. We have a lot of things that are included at the basic perk. I know I'm all over the place. I apologize.
Yeah, okay. No, you're fine.
Oh, you're good. Keep going.
So the newest thing that was added was this sketch card. If you scroll down, this is Anthony Figueroa, who does God's Hand. It's a trading card, so it's just reproduced art, but I'm gonna keep it with a matte finish, so everybody that backs the campaign is gonna receive one of these. So right now at the base, I know there's been a lot of talk on a lot of channels and everywhere as far as for your money, should you be throwing in all this stuff or extra content? This is the first campaign that I've ever done. I'm new to it all. I'm learning a lot. So I wanted to give my backers a lot of rewards for helping me get it off the ground. So you're gonna get right off the bat with your $25 level, you're gonna get the 100-page graphic novel. You're gonna get a 24-page book that I printed in 2005, which is a representation of where we were and and how far we've come. You're gonna get 5 trading cards. You're gonna get a sticker. I think there's a blockheads that's been released from the stretch goals. You're gonna get 4 prints. Depending on when, you're gonna get either 1 or 2 posters, 11 by 17, and just as a thank you, I'm trying to add more and more stuff. All the trading cards, the prints, and the 2 posters actually went to the printer yesterday, and I should have those in 2 weeks. I also talked to the printer about my book. So if you look at the campaign, it says that we will be shipping around May. Actually, probably going to be shipping towards the end of March.
Nice.
So just like Daphne or Jessica,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know.
As a new creator, I wanted to have as much possibly finished before I started the campaign. I actually started a little late, but I think that, me being just the writer and having so much out of my control, I wanted to make sure that even if there was some sort of delay, that I could kind of rein it in to a reasonable delay if there had to be one. But everybody that I've worked with has been super professional. I think I know I'm but yeah, just everything's been great. And again, I'm still learning. For the second book, we're about 20 pages in artwork. So we're going along with the second one, which completes this story arc. So no worries on if we're going to continue or not. But again, everybody's been great. I'm surprised at how well it's doing. So I'm just sorry.
I like it, and I see a lenticular print here, and it's a woman in lingerie. So I may forgive you for the werewolf.
Yeah. Well, how are you with Cheetos?
He'll overlook the werewolves for the lingerie.
Yeah. As long as there's no Wendigos in there, we're good.
Well, not yet. There's no Wendigos.
I gotta say, Figaro, you need to send me that drawing so I can ink it for you.
Ooh.
Yeah. You know what's that'd be cool, Eric. Because Eric, you just did some of the inking on God's Hand.
Yeah,
Anthony's book. And Anthony did a cover for a book that I'm doing. And I know what he did. See, Anthony's well aware that I'm afraid of vampires. I'm afraid of werewolves. And
is there a monster you actually are not afraid of?
No, vampires okay. Werewolves, and he knows the character's supposed to be fighting vampires, but I swear that hand is furry that he stuck in there. This hand of this gnarled creature approaching the good guy, and I'm like, that's a werewolf hand, and Anthony did that shit on purpose. But Anthony's a good friend, and always on the show. Not on here enough, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Grant says, everybody always gets anxious when they enter pitch mood. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Yeah.
It's just repetitiveness. It's repetitiveness. You just got to keep doing it, and then you kind of get used to it.
Edwin the Ace launches January 31st. Acevedo says, "Hell, peeps."
Yeah.
And Beyond Time says hello to him and says, you're the man, Eddie. Glad to hear issue number 2 is already in the works.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, this looks really good, and I'm a sucker for trading cards too.
Yeah,
so.
That's a gorgeous book, and
thank you. Like I said, I owe it to everybody around me who, I give them my half-hearted sketches and my script, and they turned it into gold. For everybody, from the video to just anybody I've ever asked a question to. I
want to play the video here. You mind?
Yeah, sure.
Let's play it. Let's see. I think I got the sound on. Let me know. Guys hear that?
No,
no sound. Oh, okay, let's fix that. I will fix. I thought I had. Here we go. Make sure I bring in the right thing, not the Amazon.
In a world where wolves reign supreme.
Yeah, there you go. Here we go. Cool. Very nice.
Well done.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Let me bring it back up.
The flash of that Anubis-looking character was pretty sweet.
No, really, that was like, oh, I definitely might have to back this now.
That's another hot topic that's been out there in the interwebs. Is no one is is promoting their bad guys, which I did a terrible job at doing that. But that Anubis character is basically my Norman Osborn, and he is ruthless. He is the main bad guy of my entire universe. So you'll see a lot of him coming up.
Like I said in the beginning, more unapologetic bad guys. I don't need redemption arcs.
Payday's next week for me, so this is definitely a buy.
This looks really good. I think I'll be picking one up as well. And you never know what'll show up in that indie vault that we have. We give away comics. You never know what's going to show up. But let me see here. I got a question from Indie Vault Radio, and this one is from Tegan. Tegan wants to know exactly how many hours a day do you guys spend working on your books. Says that they are only able to get in about 4 hours a day, and it's taking a very long time to get their 120-page book done. They're just on page 24. How long do you take at the table working on your book? We'll go from bottom to top. We'll start with Joe. Joe?
It depends on whether or not I have to work my 9 to 5 or not. Like normally Monday through Fridays after I get off of work, I might put in anywhere between 2 to 5 or 2 to 6 hours, from when I get off of work until I go to bed. I might even work a little bit while I'm at the job, depending on whether or not there's a downtime. But like on weekends, it's from when I get up to pretty much when I go to bed. It's just one of those type of things. So it's like it doesn't take me that long to pencil a book. It takes me longer to ink and do the other stuff. But to get something penciled, it takes me maybe about like 2.5, 3 weeks.
John?
I do about 6 hours a day.
6 hours a day. Yeah. That's pretty good, though. I mean, 6 straight hours, or do you break it up?
Nope, 6 straight hours. I got a job and I got 2 kids, so I got to do 6 straight, and then I got to call it quits for the rest of the day.
Yeah. How about you, Eddie?
Yeah, I'm like Don. I have two young girls. I'm married. I leave my house at 4 a.m. in the morning, and I don't get home till about 4 p.m. Today I got home a lot later because something happened. But after dinner time, after a little bit of family time, I'm up till midnight doing whatever I can. Getting some of the script done, going over stuff with the artist. So I'd say probably about 4 hours of actual work, maybe. On the weekends it's a little different, but yeah, I'd say with the full-time job, it's kind of harder to get more than 4 hours.
Okay, Daphne.
The answer I always like to give is never enough. But the person writing in, I mean, the fact that you're able to do 4 hours, spend 4 hours working, you're way ahead of the game. Unfortunately, what we do is not a fast process regardless. So anything you can get done, even if you could just do an hour a day, that's an hour more of work than you had an hour before that. So I think that if what you're saying, judging by what you're saying, you're actually doing fine. You're actually doing well. It's just going to take that long. It's just going to take long to do that 128 pages. That's just what it is. It's and unlike what people, like some lay people, like to think, the computer does not do everything.
There's no magic button? Oh, man.
There's no magic button.
The thing is, you got 24 pages done. That's your first book.
Yeah,
you're moving.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if you got, it's like even if you had just had 20 pages done, you're almost done with the first issue. So you're doing fine. So I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Dreaded Dinosaur.
I can echo the not enough time sentiment because I do comic book themed work as my day job. So I spend, so it's basically an 8-hour day, 8-9-hour day every day for me doing some kind of work. As for my own Dreaded Dinosaur stuff, I typically try to reserve all of Thursday for working on it. That way I get at least 8 hours a week into it. But other than that, it's, if I'm able to be up late, I'll just pour some time into it. I pop it in wherever I can.
Yeah. I want to take a look at this book real quick because I know John has to get out of here. But I want to show you guys this real quick. The Buckler is his book.
Yeah.
Now, when I first seen him, I said, "Oh my god! Like that character, the design is so cool. It's so simplistic. It's like first thing most people looking at think the Phantom, and I'm like, the Phantom's one of my favorite characters. I love the Phantom. Much to my son is like, Dad, this guy's wearing purple. Like, son, the Phantom is badass. I'll shut your mouth." Oh yeah, and my son's like, "Why he wears purple?" I'm gonna play the video real quick, John. Give me 1 minute. All right, here we go. I hope I got the sound up. Maybe I didn't. Hold on. I'll make sure. Before let me see. Share screen. Where is the sound? There we go.
Here, I'm going to tell you a story. A story you may not want to hear. A story that may hit close to home. A story about a man that gave hope to a figure. A world. A story about the master that wanted it gone. And the love couldn't be contacted.
Special appearance by Lola.
A story about the lengths a man will go to. Back to the home force program. I want to tell you this story because you need to hear it. Because there's always a way back. But if you think it's going to be easy, you're wrong. And if you think you're ready for this story, you're not. Coming back is going to take everything that you don't want to give. And it's going to be behind a trail of burning bone. This is the story of the Buckler.
Man, I gotta up my video game. You guys are just killing it.
They're the Buckler. Now, 5 hours left on this one. You don't have a lot of time to get in here, guys.
I don't, and I got about 3 minutes to pitch this.
Yeah. So go ahead, knock it out.
All right. So the Buckler is a character study. It's a character study about a guy who's a failure to launch. He's he's essentially a Joe Everyman. He had a run of bad luck, and he never really had been tested before in his life. And when that test finally did come, he broke and ended up committing murder. Now, that's all the backstory. He's been gone for 4 years from his hometown of Winnipeg. He's been down in Brownsville, Texas, training under the tutelage of his own Pai Mei. Is this guy named Guillermo Torres, a boxing coach who never really had any sons, so he takes him in as a father figure. But because he's in league with the Mexican mafia, he essentially turns the Buckler from what he was, this raw, untamed lump of potential, but a failure of potential, and turns him into a ruthless killing machine, essentially. Now he's done, and he's back in Winnipeg, and he's coming back to claim the things that have been taken from him when he was forced to leave. And that's the premise of the story right there. And this thing starts off, this chase in the snow starts off as kind of like Indiana Jones, where you start off at the end of the previous adventure. This is his adventure in the polar twilight up there in Nunavut in Canada, in the Arctic Circle. And he's chasing down this guy Harrington, who is a reporter. And not only is he a reporter, he's the reporter that filmed and was able to take pictures of the Buckler committing murder, which forced him to leave town. Harrington is also dating his ex-wife, who he left and is raising his child. So he's chasing him down. There's a lot of bad blood between these two guys, but he sees Harrington as kind of like not only a father figure, but he's not so far gone that he doesn't actually have a relationship with his wife. He does talk to her. Again, it's very awkward and very kind of a dysfunctional relationship, but he kind of treats Harrington like almost like you would like a brother-in-law. He goes and picks him up. They go out on do some crazy stuff. He drops him off at his ex-wife's house. He's all beat up. He needs to go to the ER, that kind of stuff. But what happens is the Buckler's back in town, and people are getting tired of him. He's back only for a short while, about 2 weeks, and people have already kind of they've gotten to the point where they've had enough of him.
Right.
And so this is where the main conflict of the story is, the surface conflict, which is the physicality, which I don't really like to focus on. I like to focus on psychological violence. So what happens is that the town's had enough. The town has its own little group of heroes. They're just essentially Instagram heroes, and they go around for promotion and for sponsorships, and they save cats and stuff like that. And they're being accosted by the citizenry saying, "Why aren't you doing anything about the buckler? You guys are our town's mascots essentially." Mm-hmm. They can't handle it. They hire out a woman from Toronto who actually does have superpowers to come and try to deal with the buckler. She doesn't know what she's in for because this guy is just absolutely unapologetic villain. He's a dirtbag through and through, and but the thing is, that's where the violence comes in. That's where some of the action comes in. But the main crux of this story is whether or not this guy is going to make the decision to go full villain, or is he going to start to lay the groundwork to become a successful, well-rounded man? Mm-hmm. Because the thing is, Harrington, this reporter guy who's a nobody, is the buckler's villain in this story. He's the exact opposite. He's a guy that got his act together very young, is in shape, got a good job, wakes up and shaves every morning. He's everything the buckler is not. He takes responsibility, which the buckler does not.
And I want to tell everyone who's listening to Indie Vote, listen, this book looks great, but if you want to see the most accurate depiction of the Indie Princess Lola, check it out. I say go pick it up. I've seen those before. Yeah, I was about to say yeah. So yeah, go pick it up. Now you got 5 hours left to pick this book up.
Right.
It will be shipping it worldwide, which is ballsy. But he's shipping it worldwide. You can pick this book up. You got 5 hours, folks. He's not extending this, right?
No, this is as long as it goes.
Okay, so right now you can get the $10 digital copy, $10, or you can get the graphic novel, $30. How many pages is it?
This is 50. However, we just passed the $10,000 mark, which means that you're going to be getting an additional book, a 28-page one-shot called The Temple of Polar Twilight, which is the adventure that ends right at the beginning of this graphic novel. So it's essentially the prequel.
Prequels for everybody.
Yeah,
right. Everybody gets a prequel. Yeah, and the thing is, I made that in a completely different way. It's not a story like The Buckler at all. It's essentially a monster movie because the story focuses on Harrington, his cameraman, and a representative from the Canadian government being chased down and things, people getting essentially mutilated. You never actually see the Buckler in the book after the first couple of pages. He becomes the unseen monster that's hunting them down on this this melting mountain.
It looks great. Another book that I got 5 hours to get this back and make sure I get mine. All finished, all ready to go. April 2021. Head over to Indiegogo. You're gonna be looking for The Buckler, Buckler. And John, I can't help. I know you got to get here, but I noticed that you got a really nice buckler hat on.
Yeah.
That been made available to people to purchase?
No, the thing is, I have a YouTube channel called Dillard Draws, and if you go over there, I do a show on Mondays called Scribbattle, where we just play around. We do 2-minute sketches. The chat has to guess, and that's the only way you can get a hat is you can win it.
I see. Very smart. Very smart. Thank you, John, for being here with us. I know you got to get out of here, but thanks. Hopefully, you get the Indie Vote bump.
And I appreciate you so much for having me on.
No
Thanks
problem.
for coming on. Yeah. Thanks for showing this off.
This looks great.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah.
Again, The Buckler, Indiegogo.com. If you are listening on Indie Radio, go check it out. You got 5 hours to do so. Thanks, John. And then we'll let
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Absolutely.
Take care. Have a great night. Any runs.
That looks pretty good. I like books like that. Plus, he looks like a badass version of the Phantom. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Lola book, Indie Princess. Her book has gone into the character design stage, so she's almost there. She's another person that's gonna be making me look bad pretty soon. She's got to go. Now, I didn't get a chance to tell everybody too. I just thought about it while we were covering John's book for Sovereign Wolf. you guys got 15 days for that one. But I noticed that let me see, you got a $75 pack that covers all 3 variants of the graphic novel, all 3 6x9 print variants, and 3 sets of trading cards, right?
Yeah.
So that's really a cool pack if you got friends who can't decide on which cover they want. You guys all go in together. Now you've got all these additional books. I'm cheap, so I'll try to save money however I can. I tried to go on with Joe on a book, and Joe was like, "No, not having it." I see how Joe is. He knew I wasn't paying my half. That's what it was. Let me look in the comments here. Comments are $10,000 on Indiegogo. Man, that's a lot of money. Hell, brother, says Rebel Gaming. Yeah, and I heard a lot of Canadian talk in there. Larry's from Canada, so he's excited about the Canadian heroes. Indie Volt Radio wants to know why don't you guys put samples of your books up on Webtoon to whet the appetite of would-be buyers?
Gee, what a wonderful idea.
Jeez, I guess you haven't been on Webtoons.
Ouch.
Shame on you.
Ouch,
shame on you. You've never been on Webtoons.
Funny you should mention that. My books are not on Webtoons. However, you can, if you go to egoworks.com and talltalesonline.com, you can read both Ego Raven and Tall Tales on my website. With Ego Raven, it's the original version. It's black and white. It has the original lettering. Not the untweaked artwork, pretty much. So you can read the first 5 issues on my website, and then you can pick up the new colored remastered version on Kickstarter.
Nice.
I think that I mean, free books are pretty cool. I seen oh man, I'm gonna kick myself from forgetting who did it, but they put up the first issue of their comic free recently, and they're like, hey, I believe in my product so much that I'm putting up the first issue for free. Go check it out. And I thought that was pretty ballsy. It's pretty ballsy. The first issue for free. But you know, you got to get him on the you got to get him on the hook, right? So.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that this is a good way. I mean, because like I said, this story has been floating around for about 20 years. So the story's been online one way or another. Mm-hmm. So this is a way that they can like check out the work, check out the story, where it goes, you know, if it's something that they're actually interested in. And then they pick up the colored remastered versions on Kickstarter. So like they'll have an actual physical copy.
Nice.
I think that's I think that's very important to, especially like a book like Eric's. Eric has been putting Dreaded Dinosaur out on Webtoon for a while now. In fact, that was funny. Eric told me about Webtoon. Immediately, I seen like the advantages in it, and I'm like, oh, I got the perfect book for that. I got this little small book I want to do, and so I put it together. I do it on Webtoon. Eric's like, damn it, you beat me. I beat him by like 1 week, I think. Which is, listen, you understand, for me to put together a book in 1 week, you have to understand that's core variant, that's prime variant. 1 week, because Eric knows I'm lazy, I'm slow. Here's Dreaded Dinosaur, man.
Yeah, in fact, with my scenario, I'm not putting the first issue out. You know, you're not getting a reprint if you go with my Indiegogo. This is the main story. This is the beginnings of the story. So when my book is ready for Indiegogo, it's going to be a great story. You're going to enjoy it, but you're going to enjoy it a lot more if you've been reading the Webtoon, because you'll know all the ins and outs. You'll know all the setup, the arcs of the characters, and the Indiegogo is just going to be a beautiful payoff. It's going to be nonstop action, huge fight, and we're building up to it. So you've got to jump on Webtoon, click on subscribe, become a reader of Dreaded Dinosaur Man, and you're going to be up to date, ready to go. This is priming you for it.
Cool. Yeah, and the cool thing about this story, my son has that poster in his room. He's got a trading card. Eric did one-off trading card. I like the fact that, again, like I said, it's an original story. It's all there. The main story is on Webtoon until Eric gets a taste of Hollywood. And it's like, well, guys, Yeah, that's the Webtoon Adventures. Now you got to pay for it. You want the good stuff.
And it's currently the only place you can see variant in a comic book.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Good old Veach, nice and plump, and you know it's funny. We talk about people being with no like redemption arc, Stephanie.
Yeah.
Being able to write myself, being the worst version of myself, is great. It is really freeing because it's like, well, I could do right, but I'm not gonna. You know. It's really cool. It's really cool. And it gives me an opportunity to write a lot of the stuff that, you know, hey, what would you think V should say this or say that? There's an ad and I want to run it. Matter of fact, I'm going to have an opportunity here pretty soon to run it that Eric let me write. And that was cool. That was cool because
that ad's technically your first appearance too.
Yeah, my first appearance, I got to write it. That was really cool. And
so if you want to really be a collector, you got to pick up Luke Stone's Hybrids book, because that's the first appearance of you in the ad.
Yeah.
First printed appearance of Dread Dinosaur Man as well. So
yeah. Right. And I picked up a writing credit, which, you know, no one ever gives me credit for. Randy, I know we stopped at that question right before you, but how long do you stay at the drawing table? Because you said you have a hump on your back.
We all do.
A hump on my back. Yeah, we all do. It's acquired over time. I don't have a hump on my back as much as I have a hump on my belly. The old artist hump.
We all got that too.
That's where everything sets because you're leaning forward so much. Yeah, but I don't have a set amount of time. I try to spend as much time there as possible. But I have a lot of other side assignments that come up, or commercial art jobs that have to be done in preference to. Like the crowdfunding book I've been working on, I thought I'd be done with it by now, and I probably am barely a third of the way in, maybe. I don't even think I'm that far, probably a quarter of the way in on the book, but I'm doing a lot of research on it. It's a book that requires a lot of detail, and I want to make sure everything's right on it. So it's a combination of working on it and researching it. So there's no set time. I'm looking forward to spending most of the day tomorrow working on the book now, though. Thankfully, I've just gotten past a large short order and a commercial job that I had to push the book off for. So I'm hoping to get to it. They're right back up on it and spend a lot more time on it this week. So we'll see how far I can get. I'm on page 42 now. So. But I understand your guys' plight, though. You have to work on that as whenever and as often as you can, and look at it as smaller goals as opposed to having this long. I got 120 pages and I'm barely 24 in. No, set goals for yourself every week or even every day in order to get there. When you wake up in the morning, I'm going to be on such and such a panel on such and such a page by the time I'm done. And just keep working at it. And the more you work at it, the more you're going to get done. But try not to let the weight of it stop you or slow you down at all. Yeah. Just keep working in smaller chunks. Think small chunks, getting things done. And the more you get things done, the more the whole will get done.
Yep, well said. A little bit at a time. Just chip away at it.
Yep.
Lola, you did your first book. You were writing it. You spent a lot of time writing, and you did something that I didn't. I was against. Lola would write in her notebook first, physically write, and then type that, and then ask me to look over that, and it was just like, oh man, come on. Yeah, there it is. You put up the
yeah. DD works that way too. He writes in a notebook, and then he transfers to the computer, and then it just. I go straight to the computer.
Yeah.
It depends on which stage of creation I'm in, because I will put synopsis and stuff in a notebook in a heartbeat, but when I actually do pure scripting, it's always computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have multiple notebooks laying around the work area, so and you fill it in as you go along. Some of it's for commercial work, some of it's for creative work.
And Lola, you were typing for like 3-4 hours a day?
Wow.
Was that right?
I was writing for. One day I took like 6 hours to write.
When
Right.
the muse speaks, you know, you just do, you know, you just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just that way.
Here,
Once you get typing, you just go, you just flow, and it's like next thing you know, it's like what? It's 2 days to go. What do you mean it's 2 days?
I just added like 4 more pages to it before I sent it to my artist. So yeah, it's like close to 80 pages.
Cool.
I thought that she should have done that when she was recovering. First, I recovering from her surgery. She could have let all that rage out, but she didn't.
No, that's hard to do. It's like, yeah, it's like convalescing from surgery isn't the free time you think it is.
Well, she's worried. She's like, because she told me, she's like, well, I still hurts back here. I'm gonna have to pitch this book, and I can't talk right yet. And I'm like, you're getting better. You know, it's gonna come back to you. But by the time she's ready to go into pitching, she should be fine completely by then. Me personally, I don't spend any time at the drawing table anymore. I'm too lazy, and you know, it's like, look, I got a wife, I got a kid, I got a girlfriend. You know, it's like, no, it's just a lot of work.
You're running a media empire.
Yeah, you know, I got the indie Vault stuff to do. I got Liberty to do, but I'm lucky these days if I can get 2 hours, and by then I'm just warmed up. Because there's a point where I have to warm up. Like I have to.
He takes forever to warm up.
Yeah.
I was like,
That sounds like
there's
a
a
personal
punchline in that. There's a punchline in that. I'm not going to say it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's times where I sit down, and what I found now that actually helps me to warm up is if I ink a page. That actually helps me because then I can move on into drawing, and then even if I don't get around the drawing that day, at least I ink the page.
Yeah.
But yeah, Eddie.
Yes.
You had mentioned that with your book, and now you know werewolves. Are you you gonna do issue 2, issue 3? Are you finding that it's hard to because everyone else kind of mentioned they're doing prequel books. Moving forward in a book, is that harder, or do you feel that there's opportunities for you to go back and fill in the back and history of the characters?
So the funny thing is, there's a 24-page floppy that's gonna be included with this campaign for everybody.
Here we go.
That 24-page floppy that we printed in 2005 is the prequel book.
See?
That is back
You
then.
get a prequel. You get a prequel. You get a prequel. Everybody gets a prequel.
So back then, not knowing that we were going to have time or we would even get all 4 books produced, because it was originally a 4-part series. Me and my cousin, I was just like, well, let's get this story out. Just tell a little bit of story, a little bit of world building, and then, we'll see where it goes. And then, life happened. We had to stop. But the good thing is that inside the 100-page graphic novel, we redid that. It was a 13-page story. It's now a 17-page story. So we redid it with all new art. All its colors now. It used to be black and white.
Okay.
We're great artists. So you get to see what the story used to look like. The story so much hasn't changed, but the artwork, you'll see a giant leap of then to now. So yeah, to make a long story short, the prequel is included in this campaign.
Cool. I had thought of a story with my book. It's like a 5-page. I'm not doing 24 pages, but I'm like, that would be cool if I showed that what happened beforehand. But I don't think I got the. I'm also too lazy to draw it. Oh, that means I got to draw.
My problem is I spent a good year and a half before I even drew the character world building. So I have this massive Google document and all these stories that I just kind of puked out. I've got stuff that I'm really itching to draw, but I can't draw it yet because it doesn't happen in sequence.
I hate that. Yeah,
I'd be drawing something that I can't publish until I get all these other things done. So it's
these are all spoilers.
Yeah.
I've sat next to a lot of publishers at Comic-Con, and a fan will come up to them and they'll be selling the person on their book, and they're like, okay, so here's issue 1, and here's what happens. And they're like, and then, well, wait, man, if you like this, wait to issue 2. And they explained that what was going to happen in issue 2. And there was one point where a buddy of mine, I looked at him, he told the guy everything that happens up to issue 11. Mind you, he's only got issue 1 on the table.
Oh, it's tough.
The rest of these are vapor comics at this point. They don't exist. There's no art. There's no nothing. And I'm like, dude, now he has no reason to buy the books.
Shut up.
Yeah, it's like there's no reason to buy these books whatsoever. I think that if you can get the time to draw, great, but be careful because we get really excited. World building, like you said, Eric, if you've been working on a book, My Story, The Begotten, I've been working on that book since I was 18, 19 years old. So the characters all live in my head. And for a while, I put them away, and they were like in there clawing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happened to me. It's like for years, it's like the characters were just clawing, and I finally had to like, okay, fine, out, everybody out.
Yeah, exactly. They were clawing to get out, and starting to draw them was actually pretty cathartic because they would just stick in your head, and you finally get them on paper and get the story told. And it was cool too because I look at that. I've drawn the book 3 times now. That first version, that second version, in my opinion, even worse. But it's funny. The first version I abandoned halfway through. The second version I drew that completely. This version I'm doing now, I like it a lot better. But it's I'm glad too because I matured as a creator.
Yeah.
Not just in the way I tell stories, but in the way that I draw. Because otherwise, I don't think I would have liked it. I don't think that the variant from 2005 could have did this story.
No, that's the typical process. I mean, when I finished scripting the series, it's like so much pressure, like that. Literally, the last line, so much pressure was alleviated from my head, just putting that last line. I think I laughed hysterically for like 15 minutes. I just literally could not stop. Like I was having a delirious moment.
No, that's the evil genius moment.
Yeah, it was just finally out. The story was just finally on paper and done. So it's like now it's like, okay, now it's just drawing it. But really though, I went manic at that last line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember, Eric and I do a lot of traveling together, and Eric was talking about Dinosaur Man. I want to say in early 2018.
Yeah.
And he was again world building on these road trips, and everything that went into his head. He figured, well, I could do that with Dinosaur Man. I just take this and that and mix it. And it's really cool, almost as a study of Eric to watch him take things. I know where he got that from, or I know what he's commenting on, with this particular, story. Well, Daphne, on the other hand, people with unicorn, you should do, Daphne, make tape ice cream cones with your foreheads. You got to make some unicorn swag. I'm sorry, more unicorn swag.
Eventually, sure.
Yeah. Everyone's got a book out. Randy is working on 2 books, but one we've already announced, and that is our beautiful forthcoming. Indie VOLT Revolt here. Randy
Got that. There we go.
A little bit about that real quick, could you?
We're putting an anthology together using the talent of the folks that you see or hear here on Indie VOLT. Just to give you a taste of the quality of work that we all do, the type of fun that we all have in doing sequential art. So we're putting together a series of complete short stories, I should say an anthology of complete short stories, beginning, middle, and ends with different characters, hopefully IPs that folks will see in the future or have seen in the past. There's all sorts of great talent that we've already got lined up for it. We're still looking for more. So if you've been a part of the Indie Volt radio or network, or if you've been on the shows at all, you're more than welcome to contact me about getting into the Revolt. We'd love to have you there. So in the end, I want it to be a 96-page book with a collection of short stories. Most stories won't be any longer than 8. We do have one very special story done by a group of people that looks like it's going to run about 12 pages. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be that's a very important story for all of us. And you'll see it once it gets in there. It's going to be spectacular anyway. We're looking to do 2 covers for the book. It's going to be the first book out by a refashioned Arrow Comics 4.0. This book is going to kick off that company. The stuff that I print under will be under that banner from that point on. And we're really looking to turn this into a portfolio piece for everybody, something that everybody can be proud of and will sit on the shelf for a long time to come.
Yeah, it's when it's out, I'll be making sure that I go around and
hopefully you'll get a story in there.
Put people, I got something for it.
I mean, Daphne's got a story. We haven't talked to Eric about getting a story in there, but I'm hoping.
Oh, yeah, we have. I got one I'm working on.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good.
We talked to Eric. I've already threatened him. It's Eric, you'll do this. You'll do this, or I'll come to your church every Sunday. Every Sunday.
Well, that's just gonna make me not do it.
Yeah.
You should see the quality of work that we already have in house for this book. We've got a 4-pager by Josh Harris, who hasn't been on as often as he should be. That's a local talent that I was happy to print when I was doing Flint Comics and Entertainment. It's got a 4-page story that just literally blew me away. Just amazing. Mm. So there's Daphne's working on a story. I'm working on a couple stories. One funny, one superhero story that I'm working on with another local guy that absolutely has to be seen. Just a phenomenal talent named Jim Howard that involves the Golden Age Daredevil and Silver Streak. I can't wait to get that out there as well.
One last thing from Indie Volt, actually not from Indie Volt Radio. This is actually from my Facebook. I don't know why some of my comments aren't showing up, but oh my God, where did Indie Princess get that chair? I have to get one. That chair was a Christmas present, and it was horrible and hard to get. It was a horrible experience getting that chair. Yeah, she's got lots of RGB, and that's her. My mouse, my keyboard, my mouse pad. Yeah. My chair. Yeah.
She's the RGB princess.
Yeah. I should have unmuted you so you could have said that, but ton of RGB over there. So I plan on getting more. My next purchase is to get RGB speakers. No way. And I need one more RGB.
She's going to be glowing in the dark by the time she's done in that corner.
The good thing are LEDs, because your electric bill is going to be fire.
Yeah.
There you go.
Guys, why don't you tell everybody where you can be found? We will start with Eddie. Eddie, where can you be found online so that people can stalk you?
I am at Twitter at DoseTrue, DoseTrue. I post updates about every 2 days now since the campaign slowed down and since we're getting more work in. But there's going to be a YouTube starting up this year. I wanted to start it last year, but I didn't have, the ability to do it in the time. So eventually. So that's where I can be found. That's Twitter right now.
Cool. Next, Joe, where can they find you at?
They could find me on Facebook up under Joe D. McPhee. They could take a look at our comic books at exigencystudios.com. That's XIG as in George, ENCY studios.com. I also have a YouTube channel called From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher, which normally broadcasts every Saturday evening.
Cool. I don't get over to your channel as much as I should. I need to go over there and start leaving comments.
I was on it a week or so ago.
Yeah, he was about what 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. He was on it
I see
before the holidays.
I see how it is.
It was a good time, real good time.
I see how it is. Everyone else gets invited places. I get it.
Don't worry, I don't get invited either.
Yeah. I see how it is. Daphne, where can you be found?
Yes. Well, if fantasy comics is your thing, you can go to egoworks.com, EGOWORKS.com, and talltalesonline.com, TAILS, where you can read both my comics for free online and sign up to get regular updates and links to my current Kickstarter for Ego Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn in full color. And also, if you're into art tutorials, demos, and the occasional rant commentary video, if Varian goads me enough to make one, you can find me also on YouTube at Daphne Lage, Lage Art.
Cool. Yeah, I will trigger her as much as I possibly can to do that. Indie Princess, tomorrow you're on Geekgasm.
I am on Geekgasm as long as I'm feeling good.
Okay.
I'm still sick, guys, but I'm trying to be there for everybody.
Yeah, we actually it was kind of weird. I've actually begged her to be on a little bit more. Like, hey, notice you were walking today.
I'm trying.
You can come on.
What's wrong with me? When I went to the hospital on the 1st, they couldn't give me an answer. I'm just really sick. But I will be there on Geekgasm tomorrow, unless I'm throwing up, at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And Meredith Logren will be there too, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And if you want to find me, just look up the Indie Princess on all social medias. Facebook is the best way to contact me, though.
Cool. Randy, well, I'll tell people how to. Well, go ahead, Randy. Where can you find it?
Has Eric already gone?
Yeah. Oh, yeah? Eric
No.
Has Eddie gone? I don't think Eddie has gone.
Yeah. Eddie was first.
Yeah, I got a point, Eric. Okay, go ahead. Eric, go ahead. You first.
Well, you can out of order. That's what it is. You can find me on all the social medias at Dreaded Dinosaur. You can go to erichodson.com, ERIKHODSON, and click on Buy Prints and help me pay my rent this month if you'd like. And also click on Webtoon and check out Dreaded Dinosaur Man. Please sub to that. And next Monday night, I will be here with my host, Michael Oden, and we will have another great Webtoon comic that you may not have heard of that you might want to check out on It Came From Webtoon.
Very good. And that show, It Came From Webtoon, is doing really good numbers on Indie Volt Radio. People are liking what they're hearing, which is really weird because I'm like, it's a visual media, guys. I mean, but I think the cool thing is.
No, but it's a good show because what it is that there's so many. You get lost on Webtoon, so you need guides. You need guides for that.
Yeah, and I was searching for that on YouTube because I was like, "What is good to read?" Look out, and there's hardly anything. There's just like a bunch of super fans doing videos about content that's already mega popular and getting Crunchyroll TV shows. There's nothing out there for people on Webtoon Canvas who are developing really. I mean, we just covered a comic called The Black Coat. This was originally published back in the 2000s, 2005, I think it was, or 2006. He's got 4 issues. If you go to The Black Coat on all the social, this is an amazing, beautiful story. It's Zorro meets James Bond at the birth of America. He's got the gadgetry of James Bond. It's got the action of Zorro. He's dressed like got the long coat on and the huge triangular hat. I forget what the name of the hat is called, but it's this gorgeous noir black and white ink wash artwork. This is top tier stuff, and it's got like 74 subscribers to it.
But you do a great job of describing what's on the screen, and that what makes the show what it is.
Thank you.
I was there for like the first 2. I just didn't say much of nothing.
Let me see here, and then that'll be. Oh, Randy, where can they find you at?
What's our final radio number?
Final radio number right now, we are sitting at 74195.
74195. We love all of you out there in Indie Volt Radio land. please tell your friends. Let's bring that number up to 100,000.
Mm.
But you can find me at the Zim Geek channel over on YouTube. That's ZIMMGEEK. If you want to get a hold of me personally, I'm available on Facebook. I've gotten a lot of great new friends there from this podcast from all over the world. It's been so much fun looking at everybody's artwork. I love it. Love seeing all the different cartoonists, especially Friend, and then have them on my timelines. It's just phenomenal stuff. You can find me over at Twitter under Randy Zim. I'm not over there very often, but when I am, it's under Randy Zim. You can find me here on the on the Indie Volt radio network on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. for the Livewire broadcast. On Thursday morning, Varian and I come back again for the Breakfast Buzz at 9 a.m. And then on Sunday mornings, I do a broadcast called the Sunday Funnies, where we talk about the more lighthearted and whimsical side of comics. Daphne is on there the majority of the time as well. So we talk about funny animals, everything that's lighthearted and fun, entertaining about comics, everything from funny animals to undergrounds to golden age books. We've had a wide variety of folks on there and some phenomenal discussions in the past few episodes. And there's a lot more to come.
Mm-hmm. And one of the questions that I was also, I figured we'd end with this one. But first, before we do, I did want to tell anybody, if you have a question you want to send to us, you can do that at IndieVolt Live at indievolt.com. Please include IndieVolt Live in the subject and keep those emails to 90 words or less. And when you send that in, I'll be able to do it on a nice little cute card and bring it up, and we can make fun of you.
Also, no question too serious or too silly. So
right.
feel free to ask.
IndieVolt TV on that's right, IndieVolt Radio on Google Play, stream on iOS as well as Amazon's Alexa device. You can ask it very nicely, and she will play IndieVolt Radio for you. She may have to learn the skills, but generally she plays it on command when I ask her. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week music. And that pretty much has been controlled by the Indie Princess now. She does most of the music curation on there, and most of the programming. We got some really cool shows. It Came From the Radio was on there. Another It Came From show. It's on there, as well as Hypersonic. I can't think of them right now. I'm drawing blanks.
You're gonna have to have a list nearby so that you can read. There's some great programming up there. Just pop over and listen.
Yeah, it's a really cool web series up there. Huh? Yeah, Supersonic Pod Comics. Those guys are really cool, and their show was very entertaining. Probably one of the most entertaining web shows we've had up there. Like superhero based. It's really cool. Check that out on I believe that's Fridays. Is that Mondays? Mondays at yeah. Okay, all right, yeah. 6 p.m. Yeah, there we go. Nobody can hardly hear you, but that's fine, Lola. And IndieVolt Radio, IndieVolt TV on Roku is free as well. Lots of independent movies up there. Some more coming very soon, and I just actually got through signing a deal with another director to get his films up there. So those will be up there probably within the week as well. So check those out. It's free, IndieVolt TV. I need to go up there and redo this card though, because a lot of those companies have kind of changed their logos now. So need to get up there and change around a little bit. What else? I think that's it, guys. I want to thank you for joining us. Last question of the night I wanted to address. I'll leave it at that. You ever had a cold opening? I'm gonna do a cold closing here, and this one is from Jesse. And Jesse says, "Hey, found you guys on YouTube, and then I downloaded your IndieVolt Radio app. My question is, it's a very cluttered market. There's a lot of people out there claiming that they are experts at making comics. How do you decipher and get through the clutter and find people who really have the juice as opposed to someone who's talking out of their ass?"
Oh, that's a great question, because I've run into that in the past.
Yeah.
That's especially being in comics for as long as you have. You find people, there are some people out there doing video series that have tens of thousands of subscribers that are literally full of shit. You just sit there and shake your head and go, "That's not how that worked."
Yeah.
What the hell's wrong with you? And you get mad and you want to start screaming at the board, or like Daphne did with the Adobe Comic Blast.
Yes.
You want to start calling these people out, but all you do is call more attention to them. You really have to wade through, Jesse, and figure out on your own who's valid and who's not. You can go back and look at their body of work and see. You can Google their name and see how many images or covers come up of their stuff. In order, if you ever question somebody who boasts about all the work that they've done, or you can get a hold of them and send them a question, just like you did here at iNDIE VOLT, and ask for some receipts and some references. That we go through and talk about the stuff that we do all the time. I got a rack back here that has a lot of my stuff on it. That,
anybody worth their salt will be willing to talk about what they did.
Oh, they want to talk about what they
exactly. You know,
even if they're ashamed of the work,
like I am.
They still want to talk about what they did. Yeah.
What did you say, Lola?
Most people have a website.
Most people have a web.
Most people do. I don't have I've got a Facebook page. It's got a bunch of stuff. Or go over to Flint Comics on Facebook to look at the 100 covers of Flint Comics that I did the last 10 years. Eddie,
what's the thing about?
Eddie, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here, but I'm about to say something real quick.
Oh,
not Joe. We were talking to Eddie.
Yeah,
I am here.
What did you say? Did you want to say anything about that, or
about the creations, or about who's full of crap and who's
yeah.
You don't have to name names, but
no. As a new creator myself, you know, I've gotten advice and I've looked for suggestions and for help and tips all over the last 2 years where I really got serious about it. But again, like Randy said, it's human nature. You're just gonna have some things you're gonna get great advice, but you might go against it just because you're like, maybe I'll try it. Because I was warned, don't launch in November. Not really warned, but like, hey, it's a bad time, because the holidays, things like that.
I was told not to launch in January.
I always have bad luck.
You get told a lot of things. You just have to follow your own gut. Period.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't afford to wait any longer. So I was like, I'm gonna put it out. Whatever happens, happens. So, but again, there is some great content out there. A lot of the content that people are putting out, where they're helping you, they're actually showing you how to do that. So that's one way to weed out. If they're just telling you, then it's a little harder to believe. But as far as, hey, this is a website, this is where you should go to do this. This is, and compare prices. That's whatever. Just giving examples and rambling, but yeah, there is great content, but you're just gonna have to learn on your own.
Yeah. What are you gonna say, Joe?
We're going to say a couple of things. Like, for one, everybody got a website, but when people can go, they're like, here, you can have this book, or you could put a book in that person's hand right then and right there. You know that they're legit. You're going to have people that will automatically would try to either A, make money off of you, or B, tell you the absolute wrong thing to make themselves look better. You want to weed those people out. Because most of my career, well, at least professional career for like the past decade or so, I have dealt with people who pretty much told me, give up the drawing aspect, let me draw it for you, just because they want to make money off of me. Mm-hmm. Instead of pulling me to the side and showing me what I was doing wrong. Mm-hmm. I have dealt with people who was like, hey, we'll hype up your stuff, and then next thing you know, they're not there to be seen. It's like you want to run into those people all the time. It's just a matter of knowing who's legit and just experience it yourself.
Yeah. Dreaded Dinosaur.
I'm sorry, what?
He's like, I'm on iNDIE VOLT. How do you cut through the BS? The people who are online that they got internet access, they got a YouTube account because it's free. How do you cut through the BS?
You got to look for the receipts. If they haven't done anything, I'm not going to pay them any mind until they do something.
Right.
You know, that's the absolute bottom line. It's like every time back when we did shows, there'd always be somebody who would come up to you and tell you they have the next greatest X-Men, and it would be great exposure for you. Don't you love the idea? It'd be great for you to draw it.
Yeah.
Say, sure, my rate's $150 a page if you want me to do the whole book. And well, I can't pay you. I mean, it's the same thing, but on YouTube. So,
yeah.
I'll say something. This is going to sound quite pompous, but Will Smith has a line in one of his raps. He says, directors make movies. I make directors. And what I thought about that, you know, people got shows. They bring you on. See what that show can do for you, because there are people out there, some spring to mind right now, who have shows. There's one in particular springs to mind, who have shows that they're hoping to rise their credibility.
They're looking to ride your coattails.
On the backs of their guests, not the other way around. You should be able to provide a service or a value to your guest, and this individual is not doing that. And they don't live by the code of ethics they claim to live by. So, you know, you got to watch out for that. Cut through the bullshit, see what they're, ask for the receipts, and how long you've been in the game, how much time, how much money have you put into it. Not saying you got to be rich. Lord knows a lot of people don't have money. I'm not saying you should, but if someone's looking for the cheapest way to do it, I personally normally find that's the person that probably, if you haven't, look, I'm gonna say it like this: if you haven't sunk a couple of dollars into this industry, you probably shouldn't be talking about it. I tell people how to do it, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Until then, ladies and gentlemen,
just keep listening, Jesse. We appreciate your ear. We really do. And
actually, thank you for that question.
Yes, thanks a lot for that question. Don't take our word for it. Shop around a little bit and take a look. There's people out there with some phenomenal broadcasts, especially like Billy Tucci and folks like that actually want to go out and help people and do instructionals like what we do. You know, we really push getting an education here because we love talking comics. It's our passion. That's why we're here. You know, and if we can help you along the way, that's a great thing for us. So
thanks for writing in. We appreciate it, Jesse, and we'll be back here tomorrow night. Randy,
one last comic related question before we leave. I'm sorry I have to do this. I was hoping to get this in before John left. John Dilliard, right? If he does the Buckler that's on Indiegogo. So if next issue he runs across a large fortune, will he be the rich Buckler?
We'll leave it at that one. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you, everybody. Stay safe. Love you all. Hang on.
Yay! Think about what you've accomplished.
Come on to the Geekadrome. It's the place where all geeks will feel at home. Yeah, RPGs, card games, and nerd culture. Comic books, geek lights, and dope posters. And if you're up late at night, then watch out, you might get the bite of a zombie, right? Roll dice for the best D&T merchandise. It's the place to find something you searched all your life. Say yeah.